Tonight's meeting of the Metropolitan, Nashville, and Davidson County Council is coming to you live from the council chambers at the historic Metro Courthouse. It's a public affairs presentation of the Metro Nashville Network. Good evening, everyone. I'm Pat Nolan, your announcer for this program. Tonight, the 15th Metropolitan Council holds its 69th business meeting of a four-year term. This is the 15th council meeting of 2022, including one special adjourned meeting earlier this calendar year. Tonight's council agenda is 42 pages long with 100 items. That includes one rules change, a proposed public comment period, 2 resolutions on public hearing, 18 regular resolutions, 7 first reading bills, 15 second reading bills, and 48 ordinances on third and final reading. In addition, the council will consider 12 mayoral appointments to 3 Metro boards and commissions. One is an appointment to the Board of Equalization, another is an appointment to the Board of Parks and Recreation. The other 10 are being considered for a second time. They are all new appointments to the Metro Human Relations Commission. That many changes happening all at once seem to amount to a major reshaping of that board and agency. So the council deferred the nominations 2 weeks ago to find out why. We'll see what they've learned. Major action for the council tonight will be consideration of another resolution strongly opposing the recent Supreme Court decision overturning the constitutional right for an abortion after nearly 50 years. Tonight's resolution is RS 2022-1646. It has the support of Mayor John Cooper and several council leaders. It will request the Metro Employee Benefit Board to extend health coverage for Metro employees, to include reimbursement to obtain out-of-state medical procedures that are unavailable in Tennessee. That would apparently include abortions. The benefit will also include transportation, accommodations, and related costs. This could impact up to 15,000 city workers. We should note the federal law does not allow the use of tax dollars for abortion purposes. It's not known if there's a similar ban in Tennessee on the use of state or local tax dollars for abortions. It does seem likely that the Tennessee General Assembly might soon implement such a restriction, given this potential action by the council tonight. At its last meeting, the council also approved without dissent a resolution requesting Nashville police to make criminal enforcement, arrest, and investigation of abortions its lowest priority. Resolution also requested the Cooper administration to restrict city funds and city staff from being used to investigate, catalog, or report suspected abortions. Another major action that some thought the council might consider tonight is not on the agenda. 2 weeks ago, BL 2022-1349 was withdrawn on first reading before the council even took it up. The ordinance was an agreement between the city, the Nashville 2024 Host Committee, and the Republican National Committee for our city to host the 2024 Republican National Convention. There's frankly not been much support in the council for Nashville hosting a national political convention of either party due to security, costs, and other concerns. Supporters withdrew the measure to try to work out those concerns and resubmit the proposal tonight, but nothing is on the agenda. By the way, the choice to host the convention appears to be between Nashville and Milwaukee. That Wisconsin city has already unanimously approved an agreement similar to what was being presented to the council. In fact, last Friday afternoon, word came that the site selection committee of the RNC is recommending Milwaukee be the host, with a final vote by the Republican National Committee to come early in August. Councilman Robert Swope says who was the main sponsor of the bill that was withdrawn 2 weeks ago, says he plans to reintroduce the RNC proposal for the August 2nd Metro Council meeting. That means it would be the first council meeting in September, however, before the council gives further approval, final approval, which would happen well after the RNC's deadline to make a convention decision. If it doesn't come to Nashville, there's bound to be disappointment among supporters, especially Governor Bill Lee and top Republican legislative leaders who claim the GOP convention would bring over $200 million to Nashville. Governor Bill Lee and the legislature was also ready to contribute $25 million in state funding for the convention. Republican legislators have been so upset that Nashville did not move forward on the convention, they've been threatening to call a special session to pass legislation to force Nashville to host, although exactly how that would happen and what kind of legislation that would be has never been clear. What some council leaders are still concerned about is what kind of retribution the state might seek to impose on Nashville if this convention goes elsewhere. Going back to tonight's agenda, there's a proposed rule change. Every meeting the council usually once or twice, sometimes more, will have a request to suspend the rules to move forward or to consider a bill or an amendment. That's presently allowed unless there are more than 2 council members who object. This rule change will require 5 objections to keep the rules from being suspended. Let's see what happens about that rule change. Under resolutions RS 2022-1642, will accept another $1.9 million in federal disaster funds to aid in recovery from the damage done by severe storms, tornadoes, straight-line winds, and flooding back in March 3rd of 2020. The total amount of total relief under this legislation is now almost $15.5 million. Under resolution RS 2022-1640 and 1641, the council will accept about $177,000 from the state to provide the provision of interpreter and translation services for parties with limited English proficiency, both the local juvenile court and the trial court hearings. Metro will match that with those state funds with just over $8,500 for the juvenile court. The council will also consider 2 resolutions, RS 2022-1644 and 1645. Both approve pilot programs, pilot standing for payments in lieu of taxes. Those are agreements concerning housing developments on both Charlotte Pike and on Dickerson Road. This is a relatively new tool the city is using to increase and maintain affordable housing and rental units. Metropolitan Development Housing Agency negotiates these agreements subject to council approval. With these approval, there will be 30 such agreements already in place. The council will deal with significant health care issues under resolutions RS-22, 1649, and 1651. 1649 accepts a $1.6 million grant from the state to achieve sustained control and enhance prevention to completely eliminate, eventually, tuberculosis as a public health issue in Tennessee. Resolution 1651 adds $3.1 million to the federal grant to provide for the prevention, surveillance, diagnosis, and treatment of HIV/AIDS and to administer a minority AIDS initiative program. Two major city services will receive help under RS-22, 1654, and 1655. 1654 accepts a $1.4 million grant from the state. It comes through the state, provide 80% of the cost for the city's new Nashville Connector Transportation Demand Management Center. Nashville Connector will be the region's one-stop shop for commuter options. Resolution 1622-1655 approves a 5-year, $7.5 million contract with Waste Pro of Tennessee, Inc. That company will provide Metro with once a week, Monday through Friday, solid waste collection for about 10 routes across the county, and that will be per week. Service is anticipated to begin in September 1st of 2022. After having collection problems in recent months, this will be the second contractor Metro has hired to help. It joins the Waste Management, Inc. of Tennessee, which was given a similar contract back in May. Another late resolution coming to the council tonight would assign the contract of the Red River firm, which has been in bankruptcy and caused many of the collection issues for Metro. That contract would now go to Platform Waste Solutions, Inc. They will take over 75 roofs if the resolution is approved. After passing several new laws requiring after-hours codes enforcement, RS 2022-1656 requires a monthly report to the council and to the public by the Codes Department. The report would include, but is not limited to, complaints about lighting, illegal businesses, parking on the grass, and any other night violations that cannot be followed up the next day. This reporting would begin on August 1st if this resolution is approved. Under memorializing resolutions, the council will honor the All-Volunteer Box 55 Association. That group for the last 70 years, since 1952, has supported through volunteer time, fundraising, and donations the purchase of food, drinks, cooling equipment, and other necessary provisions to offer rehabilitation services to first responders at the scene of emergencies. For example, after the Christmas Day bombing in 2020, Box 55 was on the scene for 16 straight days, providing meals and supplies for local first responders and representatives from Homeland Security, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and the FBI. Over those 16 days, Box 55 served 6,150 meals to first responders. One of the late resolution tonight will honor the life of Vernon Winfrey, former Metro Council member, a community and church leader, and the father of media icon Oprah Winfrey. On second reading, the council was set to consider yet again Bill BL 2022-1115. It would exclude the use of license plate technology in assisting with immigration enforcement as a part of the city's upcoming pilot program for license plate readers. But we understand due to council rules that will be deferred tonight. BL 2022-1168 would toughen the city's excessive noise regulations for motor vehicles and would authorize both the Codes Department and the police to join in enforcement of that. Three other second reading bills that could spark discussion are BL 2022-1250, which would create the Nashville Entertainment Commission, BL 2022-1343, and BL 2022-1344. 1343 would require the Director of Metro Human Relations Commission or his designee to be involved in the hiring and selection of any head of the city department or executive director of a department, board, or commission that's been created under Metro law, but not those that are created under the Metro Charter. BL 2022-1344 would create an impact fee for Nashville, even though council staff points out that under state law does not allow cities to oppose their own impact fee. There are some amendments that will be considered about this that may change the bill a little bit. Lights meeting is also being held during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. State law has stripped the Metro Health Department of the power to continue a mask mandate in all city-owned buildings. Virus cases do continue to rise again in Nashville. The federal CDC says we are continuing to be a community with a high level of transmission for the Omicron variant of the virus. Therefore, wearing masks again is recommended but not required tonight. If you want to follow tonight's council meeting as it progresses, you can find the agenda and the staff analysis online. Just go to the Metro Council portion of the metro.gov website. Then you can go to the Legislative Information Center. We'll also be placing the bill numbers on the screen when they come up for consideration so you can follow along and keep up with where we are on tonight's agenda. Let's go now to Vice Mayor Jim Schulman. He'll be gaveling tonight's council meeting into order shortly.
Good. Okay, then hand it to Dante. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Will the meeting please come to order? We welcome you to the Metro Council. Today is Tuesday, July 19th, 2022. All members of the council, as well as the public, please rise for our invocation. Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Our invocation tonight is brought to us by Reverend Dr. Cynthia Stewart, Community Minister of the First Unitarian Universalist Church. She is a guest of Councilmember Gloria Hauser.
Let us bring our hearts to a place of worship. Life of all lives, Holy One, fire in the flame and cooling touch of water, you who are everywhere and nowhere, you who are closer than our own souls, we turn to you to build up and safeguard this community of lawmakers, those charged with honoring and protecting and assisting the citizens of our city. May they know that justice looks at the poorest and most in need first. May they see that those who experience hate and discrimination have the greatest claim to protection. May they understand that excitement at moving forward cannot leave behind those whose lives are upended by what we call progress. O truth beyond human power, power beyond human truth, let us not build up lies, insecurity, and discrimination that you wish to tear down, nor tear down equality, integrity, and compassion that you wish to build up. Remind us of the plight of our neighbors and give us hands to work for the good. Remind us of the love of family and friends and give us heart to spread love outward. Remind us of the worth and dignity of those we call enemies, and give us the wisdom to see beyond our pettiness. For your good goes beyond the ways we too often see good only in those who are most similar to us. Your love is wider than the sky and encompasses all peoples and cultures. Your wisdom is not limited by the biases and greed that too often cloud our own. Give courage, O courage maker, to those speaking and listening, that they may remember the call to speak truth, even when truth is unpopular, to act with justice, even when justice goes against the call of the crowd, to engage in compassion, even when compassion is seen as a flaw. Let those gathered work for the good of all those even who are not gathered here. Let them be the voice for the voiceless and for those in need. Calling upon your blessing, your power, and the strength of your holy will upon these words and those here, we pray together. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whoop. Let me start again. All right, so the bangers of the gavel tonight. Next to me is Elizabeth Renee Duff. She is age 4. It says age 5, but she's 4. And she is the granddaughter of the late Elizabeth Duff. She will be attending pre-K in the fall, correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so she's done a very good job. All right, behind me is Dante Andrew Patton. Dante is 9 years old. He is the grandson of the late Ernest Rip Patton, and he will be attending Ruby Major Elementary School in the fall. And then to my right here is Alexa May Patton. She is age 10. She is the granddaughter of the late Ernest Rip Patton, and she will be attending Donaldson Middle School in the fall. And I will say that Dante and Alexa have been here all of about a week. They just moved here from Trinidad and Tobago. Okay. So we tried to explain all the things about pledging allegiance to the flag, so it just took a little while. Obviously, they are special guests tonight. We have two bills up tonight, one renaming WeGo Central after MTA's first female and African-American bus driver, Elizabeth Duff. And this is Elizabeth. She's the granddaughter of the late Elizabeth Duff. And then we have another bill that's honoring Ernest Rip Patton, a local freedom rider that will bear his name at the North Nashville Transit Center. And these are his grandchildren behind me. So please, again, join me in thanking them for banging the gavel, and we'll hear from them a little bit later. Thank you. Okay, you good? Yes. You can go and just follow them. Okay. I know. I think Elizabeth wants to run the meeting. Yeah, might just let her do it. They're good. All right. Without objection, we will suspend the calling the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of those members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for adoption of the minutes of the meeting from July 5th, 2022? Proper motion, properly seconded. Without objection, the minutes of the meeting will stand approved as written. Mr. Clerk, any messages from the mayor?
Yes, sir. There's a message from the mayor.
All right. Proceed ahead.
Dear Vice Mayor Shulman and members of council, pursuant to regulations of the Tennessee Comptroller's Office, the report on debt obligation must be submitted to the Metropolitan Council and presented at a meeting. A copy of this report will be filed with the Comptroller Division of Local Government Finance. Please see the Tennessee reporting form. The report is for tax anticipation notes for a combined $290 million authorized by the Metropolitan Council through Resolution RS 2022-1557 on June 21st, 2022. The loans were approved by the Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasury on June 28th, 2022. As always, we appreciate the Metropolitan Council's support on these important financing initiatives. Sincerely, John Cooper, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. All right, as we do sometimes when we have guests here that are running for office, we let them come to the back podium and speak. I believe we have one candidate tonight. Welcome. Come on up to the back podium.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I am a Southern Jewish geriatric millennial who wears a green jacket to court every single day. My name is Brian Alexander Horowitz, and I'm running for Davidson County General Sessions Judge, Division 9. Now, I'm a criminal defense attorney who's had over 600 cases, over 95% of which are indigent, and I have not liked the outcome of what's happening in our General Sessions Court. So I had the option of either complaining about it or doing something about it, so I've chosen to run for office. I have three crazy ideas, and that is that I will obey the law, that I will treat everybody with dignity and respect, and that I will not legislate from the bench. I hope that when you go to the ballot box, we stop looking at blue and red and we start voting on the human. And I'm running because I put people first and I think independently. So I would love your support and I would love your vote on August 4th. My name is Brian Alexander Horowitz, Davidson County General Sessions Judge, Division 9. And lastly, thank all of you for working diligently to make Nashville a better place for all of its residents. And I heard that in the invocation, and I think that that's important, that we make Nashville a better place for every single person here. So thank you so much. Have a blessed meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Horowitz. All right, so we have a long agenda for tonight, but certain things that we do want to remember. Again, there were more mass shootings around the country since we last met, one just outside of Indianapolis. I know that we are still hurting for the people of Uvalde, Buffalo, Highland Park, so many other places, and obviously we remember the country of Ukraine and its citizens. Also, and some of you may have seen this, it has a connection to Nashville. The Reverend Dr. Ortua Eason Williams, who was a district superintendent in the United Methodist Church's Metro Council, died yesterday after being shot during a carjacking in Memphis. And so our hearts go out to her family as well. I know that many of you probably saw over the weekend that the report in Uvalde was released. I'm asking the chair of the Public Health and Safety Committee, Councilmember Evans, to review along with those committee members the report that came out of that. We obviously want to learn. We want our schools safe. I'm also asking, and I talked to the mayor about this, and asking that council members, particularly with the first day of school approaching, that that you pick a school if you can, you talk to the principal, and you assist with the first day back. We've done that before. I noticed that, I believe it was Wilson County last night, has started a drive to recognize the value of their teachers. We should do the same. The teachers, the support staff, the administrators. So if you can, pick a school and show up on the first day. Also, I know that Councilmember Welsh mentioned this during announcements, asking everyone to remember to go vote. Election day is Thursday, August the 4th. Early voting has already started, and all early voting locations actually open tomorrow, running from July 20th through July 30th. If you have any questions, call the Election Commission for Metro, but it's obviously very, very important to go vote. The last thing I have is I know that there's a resolution coming up on Councilmember Winfrey, but we lost Councilmember Bruce Stanley in the last week. We didn't have a lot of details on that, but Councilmember Stanley served this body for many, many years, and our hearts go out to his family as well. Just a couple other things. Councilmember Murphy, you're recognized.
Thank you very much. Council members, in the press lately, and some of y'all have reached out to me recently, and some of our members of the public, regarding the lobbyist code, lobbyist registration, identification, and things like that. As if you recall, early in this term, like literally right before we went virtual, we passed an update to the lobbyist code. It very, very much tracks and follows the state lobbyist code. I'm currently working with our clerk for some housekeeping tweaks, but members of the public have reached out to me as well about some different changes, some things they might want to see. I think some of those are already in the code, so I think that it would be great if we, as a body, work together to make sure that we are educated, that anyone asking us for a vote, anyone trying to influence us for a vote who is being paid on behalf of another, they are supposed to be registered, they're supposed to identify themselves and their clients to us. That's the law. And so I encourage you, if you are called or emailed, to follow up with that, check with our clerk as well. And so mid-August, I'm going to hold a public meeting on that to ask for any other suggestions, since this has kind of bubbled up lately. So if you have anything, please send it through the council office and look for that meeting in mid-August.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Vercher, you're recognized.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. I want to speak as a former regional director for the National Black Caucus of Local Elected Officials. Many of you may not know this organization, this Black Caucus for Black Electeds, was founded in 1970 and is the oldest caucus for Black electeds. beginning July 20th, 2022 through July 23rd, 2022, for the first time ever, the National Black Caucus Local Elected Official Summer Conference will be held here in Nashville under the esteemed leadership of the NBC Leo President and our very own Councilwoman Sharon Hurt. I think, yes. This is a huge moment that Councilwoman Sharon Hurt and her leadership is bringing to this great city. We will have black elected officials from across the country and other dignitaries coming from across the country too. The NBC Leo Summer Conference is one of the most esteemed conferences for anyone of color that's elected. I stand before you as a former regional director of Tennessee and in support of my Madam President. And if you haven't yet, please register for this conference. Please support her leadership as she is spotlighting not only just the black elected officials here in Nashville, but the black elected officials here in Tennessee, and ultimately the city of Nashville as a whole. So I just want you, again, I don't know, many of you know or can appreciate, this is such a huge moment for this city. It is such a huge moment for people that look like us to have such a number to come into the city and frequent our city. And there's many first mayors, vice mayors, you name it. This caucus actually has it. So, Madam President, you know I love you. I got you. But as a body, we have to have her too, because it's really about us. This puts Nashville on another platform. I can recall one of my conferences that I went to, and we were just building up the black involvement in the caucus, and they said we didn't know Nashville was rocking like that. We knew what that meant, but they didn't know that we rock like that here in Nashville. So we're going to show them our Southern hospitality. Colleagues, if you haven't gotten registered, please get registered. Again, this is a prestigious conference for black electeds. And if you would join me, if you could just rise and just applaud our Madam President. She's the first ever of this conference from Nashville, our very own Councilwoman at Large, Sharon Hurt. Thank you so much, Vice Mayor, for that privilege.
Thank you, Councilmember Bircher. Madam President, before you walk away, do you have any details that you need to share with any of us as you start this conference? Councilmember Hurt.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and thank you so much, my friend, my colleague, and program planner. Thank you all so very much for that recognition, and yes, we do. Actually, tomorrow we will be hosting dinner for the executive team of the National Black Caucus of Local Elected Officials, as well as the executive director. And afterwards, we will be having a reception at the Grand Hyatt in the Luna rooftop. Then on Thursday, there will be workshops. And Thursday, lunch is going to be our speaker, Alejandra Castillo, who is the Economic Development Administrator for the White House administration. And we will also have workshops that afternoon. We will have workshops, and there will be also a reception on Thursday evening in the lobby of the Grand Hyatt that the Metro Council will be sponsoring and welcoming all of the elected officials from across the country. And then on Friday, we will continue with workshops. And Friday evening, we will be hosting the President's Gala at the National Museum of African American Music. And it's going to be fun-filled with, again, music and food and beverages and all of those good things. And on Saturday morning, we will be participating in the John R. Lewis March at 8 a.m. That's going to start at Jefferson Street and John Lewis Way. And afterwards, we will be boarding for two different tours, one to Uncle Nearest in Shelbyville, and the other is a tour of the HBCUs. And then we will close on Saturday evening at the 22nd Jefferson Street Jazz and Blues Festival being held at Fisk University. We have wonderful talent, old school, starting out with Carlton Taylor, jazz trio. Then we'll have our local band, Higher Ground. The Manhattans is coming on at 7. At 8 o'clock, we will have Mike Phillips, and 9, we're going to close it out with Bobby Rush. So when I tell you we're going to have a funky good time, we're going to have it. So y'all need to come on out and support us because, you know, the proceeds will be for the Jefferson Street Jazz and Blues Festival. And might I add, with having close to 200 people here, that means that we're going to be increasing the economic vitality of the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam President. Councilmember Hurt, sounds like a very good time. We hope it goes very, very successfully.
Thank you.
All right, so we're ready to proceed to elections and confirmations. Councilmember Vercher is a report from the Rules Committee.
Let me get the agenda in my channel my inner vice mayor and put my glasses on.
That's okay.
Yes, Vice Mayor, for the employee board appointment of Mr. David Wiley Long for a term expiring on June 30th, 2025, Rules recommended a 2-meeting deferral, 7-4-0 against. For the human relations appointment of Ms. Arce for a term expiring on April 18, 2025. Recommended approval, 8-4-0 against. Human Relations Commission appointment of Mr. Buggs, expiring April 18, 2025. We also, recommended approval, 8-4-0 against. For the Human Relations appointment of Mr. Dan Cadenas, we recommended deferral until the August 2nd meeting, 8-4-0 against, Vice Mayor.
Okay.
The Human Relations appointment of Ms. Charlton, term expiring April 18, 25. We recommended approval, 7-4-0 against. For the appointment, Human Relations Commission, Mr. Dakota Galban, expiring April 18, 2025. We recommended approval, 7-4-0 against. For the Human Relations Commission appointment of Ms. Holmes for a term expiring on April 18, 2025, we recommend approval, 7-4-0 against. And for the Human Relations Commission appointment of Mr. Kosar for the term expiring on April 18, 2025. And also for the appointment of Ms. Kwashi, I know I probably messed it up, for a term expiring April 18, 2025. Both of them, Vice Mayor, we recommended approval, 7-4-0 against. I'm going to take the next two as well, Vice Mayor. The terms are the same. For the Human Relations Commission, the appointment of Mr. Charles Trauber for a term expiring on April 18, 2025, and also for Ms. Wynn for a term expiring on April 18, 2025 for the Human Relations Commission. We recommended approval, 7-4-0 against. And for the Board and Parks Recreation appointment of Mr. DeLay, AKA Pete, term expiring on April 30th. You like that, didn't you, Pete? April 30th, 2027. We recommended approval, 7-4-0 against, Vice Mayor.
All right, let me make sure I've got this right. It looks like 2 of the appointments were deferred. The first one is Mr. David Wiley Long for Employee Benefits Board. That was deferred 2 meetings?
That's correct, Vice Mayor.
Okay, and then for the Human Relations Commission, the appointment of Mr. Dan Cadenas was deferred until August the 2nd.
Again, right? Correct, Vice Mayor.
All right, so everybody else, if I've got this right, let me make sure I've got it. Human Relations Commission, appointment of Ms. Edubina Arce, appointment of Mr. Marcus Buggs, appointment of Ms. Amy Charlton.
That's Dr. Charlton, Vice Mayor.
Dr. Charlton. Appointment of Mr. Dakota Galban, a doctor, or just, oh, okay. Okay. Appointment of Ms. Jenma Stringer Holmes. Appointment of Mr. Kozar. Appointment of Ms. Lorea Kwachi. Okay, thank you. Appointment of Mr. Charles Trauber. And the appointment of Ms. Alicia Wynn. Those are all for the Human Relations Commission. And then for Mr. Pete DeLay for the Parks and Recreation Board. All those were approved by the Rules Committee. I need a motion to approve.
I move for approval, Vice Mayor.
Got a motion to approve all those that went to the Rules Committee, with the exception of the two that will be deferred. I need a second. Properly seconded. Any discussion on the motion to approve? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. You approve. Okay, so I'm going to go through the list again, and if you will, when I call your name, stand up and remain standing up, and we'll try not to mess up your names too bad. Human Relations Commission, Ms. Edubina Arce. If you would, if you're here, if you would stand up. All right. Mr. Marcus Buggs. I've got Dr. Amy Charlton. Okay. Mr. Dakota Galban. Ms. Jenma Stringer Holmes. Mr. Kozar. Okay. Ms. Lorea Kwachi. Okay. Oh, I got it. Mr. Charles Trauber. Ms. Alicia Wynn. And Mr. Pete DeLay. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the council, will you please join me in thanking them for their service to the city? We'll go ahead. We have under Section F of the agenda, proposed rules amendment. There is a proposed amendment to Rule 54 of the Metropolitan Council Rules of Procedure. This is by Councilmember Sawara. Councilmember Sawara, you're recognized for your proposed rule change.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
The committee reports. Is that what you need?
Yes.
It went to the Rules Committee. Councilmember Vercher, you're recognized on Rules Committee on the proposed rule change.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. We recommended a 2-meeting deferral, 7-4-0 against, to afford staff to do some more research as it relates to the proposed rule change.
Okay. Back to you, Councilmember Sawara.
Thank you. I'll move for 2-meeting deferral.
All right. So Councilmember Sawara has moved for a 2-meeting deferral on the proposed rule change to Rule 54. Properly seconded. Any discussion on the deferral? Seeing none, this is a deferral for 2 meetings. All in favor of the motion to defer, say aye. Opposed, no. This one's deferred 2 meetings. Thank you, Councilmember. Okay. Next thing up is a public comment period. It is my understanding that we had one person sign up, but that person chosen not to come, so there is nobody signed up for public comment period tonight. So we will move ahead. Before we get into resolutions on public hearing, I would like to introduce, we have an interpreter here, Mr. Castillo, and his job will be to help anybody who needs assistance in terms of making presentations during our resolutions on public hearing. Mr. Castillo, you're recognized at the back podium. If you would just introduce yourself and tell the individuals in the gallery in Spanish how you can be of help.
Thank you very much. Buenos días, buenas tardes, damas y caballeros. Mi nombre es Ricardo Castillo y estoy aquí para asistirlo en esta reunión. Y si ustedes necesitan interpretación, solamente tienen que acercarse a mí y yo los ayudaré. Muchas gracias. Dios los bendiga. Thank you. God bless.
Gracias. All right, we are now ready for resolutions on public hearing. I really know my Spanish. I knew that one. All right, so we have two resolutions on public hearing. Here's how that works. I will call up the resolutions one at a time. Again, we have two, and then refer to the sponsor unless the sponsor moves to defer the public hearing. Sponsor will call for a public hearing, then ask for a show of hands for those who are here in favor of the resolution, then ask for a show of hands who are here in opposition to the resolution. Anyone in favor wishes to speak, I ask you to come forward, find the microphone at the back podium, introduce yourself, and give us your address, and then you'll have 2 minutes in which to speak. I will then ask if anyone opposed wishes to speak. After that process, I will close the public hearing, refer back to the sponsor. We are ready for the first measure. It is by Councilmember Withers. It's RS 2022-1638. It's a resolution exempting Velvet Taco East Nashville, located at 301 Gallatin Avenue, from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a beer permit. Councilmember Withers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Could I get committee reports, please?
Yeah, it goes to Government Operations. Councilmember Hancock.
Government Operations voted to approve, 6 in favor, 0 against.
All right, thank you. Back to you, Councilmember Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to open the public hearing.
Okay, declare the public hearing open. A show of hands of those who are here in favor of the resolution. Okay. A show of hands of those who are here in opposition to the resolution. I see no one in opposition. Those in favor wish to speak? Okay, come on up. Name, address, and then you'll have 2 minutes in which to speak.
Thank you. I'm Will Cheek, 2803 Belmont Boulevard, Nashville, Tennessee. I am a legal counsel to Velvet Taco. I'm a liquor lawyer. I want to thank Councilmember Withers for sponsoring our resolution, and that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? All right. Declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval.
Okay, Councilmember Withers has moved for approval. Properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the resolution say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. Item number 3, RS 2022-1639 by Councilmember Benedict. Resolution exempting 4602 Gallatin Pike from the minimum distance requirements for obtaining a short-term rental property non-owner occupied permit. Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Right. Councilmember Hancock, Government Operations.
So we voted to approve, 5 in favor, 1 against.
Okay. All right, Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to open the public hearing.
Okay, declare the public hearing open. A show of hands of those who are here in favor of the resolution. Okay. A show of hands of those who are here in opposition to the resolution. I don't see anybody in opposition. Those in favor wish to speak? Don't see anybody coming forward. I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized on your resolution.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. There was opposition in committee, and I absolutely understand the concern from the committee member who is in opposition. And I am supportive of this resolution because it is on Gallatin Pike, which is one of the 7 pikes in the city. That's major corridor. This is for a potential short-term rental property on a property that's been vacant for quite some time. It's a 2-story building where the developer would be able to build 3+, 3.5, if you will, on our UZO properties and corridors. And so what he's looking to build is less invasive, rather, or less large than what he wouldn't be able to build by right. However, he is seeking this approval because it is within 100 feet of the Lytton Middle School. It backs up to the middle school. However, it mostly, actually, it completely touches the Lytton Alumni Center. It's just that, which is a meeting place, a historic place. But the school, the middle school itself, is within 100 feet, and so that's the reason for the resolution tonight, why this is needed. With that in mind, this is, in my opinion, I am not a fan of short-term rentals, especially in our residential neighborhoods, which, thank goodness, we no longer allow that. However, this is not residential, and if we're going to have short-term rentals in this city, this is the right place to have them. So with that, I would ask the body's approval. Thank you.
All right, so Councilmember Benedict has moved approval, properly seconded. Discussion. Councilmember Roberts, you're recognized.
I need to abstain on this, please.
Okay. Councilmember Roberts abstains. Anybody else on this one? All right, so it got a negative vote in committee. I'm guessing it may get a negative vote pursuant to the rules. We need to go on the board. So we are voting on RS 2022-1639 by Councilmember Benedict for passage. Mr. Clerk? Oh, well, hold on. Councilmember Hauser?
I cannot sign in. They're trying to work on it, so I can't vote on the board.
All right, can we get members of the staff to check on that? They're working on it?
Or hers by voice.
Okay. All right, we can try this by, as long as nobody objects, we'll do it by voice vote, and on the negative vote, we'll just recognize that. Any objections to that, since we're having trouble with machines? Okay. All right, so we are voting on RS 2022-1639 by Councilmember Benedict. All those in favor of the resolution say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay. Okay, so let's recognize that. Councilmember Parker votes no, and Councilmember Sledge. Councilmember Welsh. I mean, we've got more coming. Councilmember Henderson. Councilmember Stiles, did you have your hand up? Okay. Oh, Councilmember Lee, okay. So what I've got are 5 no's. I've got Councilmember Parker, Councilmember Sledge, Councilmember Welsh, Councilmember Henderson, and Councilmember Lee voting no. Anybody else? And Councilmember Roberts abstains. Anybody else? Anybody else abstaining? All right, so resolution passes with 5 no's and 1 abstention, okay? All right, that concludes resolutions on public hearing. We have a number of special guests here that are here for the naming of WeGo stations, and a number of them have come from, obviously have come from outside the country. Those measures are they're found in on your calendar. I believe it's items number 93. It's BL 2022-1331, and item number 94, BL 2022-1332. Is there any objection to bringing them up now, since we have special guests in to hear those at the beginning of the calendar? Is there any objection? All right, without objection, we're going to call those 2 bills up. We are on BL 2022-1331. It's on page 40 of my calendar. This is an ordinance renaming the WeGo Central Public Transit Station of the Metropolitan Transit Authority, located at 400 Dr. Martin L. King Jr. Boulevard, as the Elizabeth Duff Transit Center at WeGo Central. Sponsored by Councilmember Suara, O'Connell, Porterfield, and a host of council members. Councilmember Suara, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval with a brief comment.
All right, Councilmember Suara has moved for passage. Properly seconded. Back to you.
Thank you. This is very historic because with these votes, the transit center will now be known as Elizabeth Duff
Transit Center at Wego Central. Ms. Duff was the first female driver at Wego, and because of our heroic action, so many women follow in her suit. If you read the ordinance, you will see that because of her, other women joined, and as a result, Wego had to build a bathroom for women because of that. She's been recognized on NBC, New York Times, and a whole lot of others. So we want to, I'm so excited that we're doing this to honor her. I'm grateful for our family in the audience, and with that, I ask you all to approve this, and so that the center can now be the Elizabeth Duff Transit Center. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to commend Councilmember Suara for her work on this. These were, for both of these facilities, and I'll just say this for this bill, these are not only appropriate renaming actions, the North Nashville Transit Center in particular is going to be a critically important community asset as we build this out. And as a former Nashville MTA board member, I'm just so pleased to be able to honor the role of transit with these specific individuals, and I think it's such a wonderful opportunity. I thank Councilmember Suara and our co-sponsors. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilmember O'Connell. Anybody else on this one? Before we get too far, we do have special guests in the audience. If I could get you to stand, these are relatives of Elizabeth Duff. Vera P. Carter is the daughter of Elizabeth Duff. If you could stand. Seneca Duff, the son of Elizabeth Duff. And as you know, we had Elizabeth Renee Duff, age 4, the granddaughter of the late Elizabeth Duff. If she could stand too, there she is. All right, I think I got all the Duffs in there. Did I miss somebody? All right, the gentleman whose name is not on here.
Harry Duff Jr. Harry Duff Jr.
Harry Duff Jr. I think it's Harry Duff Jr. Mr. Duff, we're really glad that you're here. Thank you. Oh, another Duff. Okay.
Harry Duff.
Harry Duff. So are you the father of Harry Duff Jr.? There you go. Okay. Cousin. Okay, I got it. I can't hear. Husband.
Husband.
Okay. And we haven't even passed the ordinance yet. All right. We're on BL 2022-1331. Again, Councilmember Suara is the lead sponsor. It's been properly seconded. She made the proper motion. Councilmember Porterfield, you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to enact the Murphy Law if possible, and everyone voted in the affirmative. If they could be listed as a co-sponsor, I would appreciate it.
There are so many sponsors on this. I think we've got everybody, but we'll go ahead and put anybody else who's voting in the affirmative as a sponsor on this one.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
All right, sure thing. Anybody else? Okay, we are ready to vote. All those in favor of BL 2022-1331 for passage on third reading, say aye. Opposed, no. Bill passes. So congratulations. All right, we are now on BL 2022-1332. That's an ordinance naming the North Nashville Transit Center to be located at 2521 Clarksville Highway at 26th Avenue North, under the operation of the Metropolitan Transit Authority as the Ernest Rip Patton North Nashville Transit Center. Sponsors are Councilmember Suara, Taylor, O'Connell, and a host of other council members. Councilmember Suara, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval with a brief comment.
All right, so I got a motion to approve, properly seconded. Back to you.
Thank you. I hope this will play, and I want to seek your judges.
Take your mattress away from you. It would continue. And they will open the gates, throw the mattresses out in the hall. You can take our mattress. Oh, yes. You can take our mattress. Oh, yes. You can take our mattress. You can take our mattress. You can take our mattress. Oh, yes.
That was the late Dr.
Ernest Ray Parton. Dr. Parton was a freedom rider, one of the civil rights icons in this town. The story was telling the mayor and I when we presented him with the key to the city along with the other civil rights icon last year was what happened when they were thrown in jail and the jailers would want to take the mattress because they were singing so loud. And then, so when they take the mattress, then they will sing too. And anybody that I've ever met Dr. Parton will know that he's a singer, has a beautiful voice. It is my honor to join with go in renaming the North Nashville Transit Center after Dr. Ernest Ray Parton. Dr. Parton works for the National Transportation Department, and in addition, he was a freedom rider. And so to name a transit center in North Nashville, for somebody that went to TSU, grew up in North Nashville, was a freedom rider, worked for the Transportation Department, I cannot think of any other honor other than that. And I thank WeGo, MTA, for the work they did. It wasn't just something that I came up with. Actually, I suggested it in a meeting, but they had the community vote on it, and it was the whole entire community that said yes to this. I'm so glad that we're honoring a lot of our civil rights icons. On Saturday, Councilmember will talk about the March for John Lewis, another icon. But Dr. Parton, when you think about all those civil rights activists, is one of the few that are actually from Nashville. And I'm glad that we're recognizing him. And with that, I move for your approval.
All right, so Councilmember Suara has moved for approval of BL 2022-1332 for passage on third reading, properly seconded. Councilmember Pulley, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Just very briefly, I've known Rip Patton for about 20 years, and everybody knows him as a civil rights icon for what he did back in the day, but he continued his work long after that, and he gave right up until the time of his death. He had a very special relationship with my youngest son, who actually planted a tree that still resides in Rip's front yard. So he was very, very instrumental in the development of a lot of boys in my Boy Scouts troop, and continue to give right on to the end. So I'm very, very, very pleased to support this, and thank you, Councilmember Suara, for your work on it.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Pulley. All right, we do have some special guests in the audience that I'd like to recognize at this point. Michael Patton, the son of Rip Patton. Bernadette Patton, the daughter-in-law. Michelle Holt, niece of Rip Patton. James Holt, nephew-in-law. Right, and Mercedes Lytle, who is a close family friend, Mercedes. And then we had, obviously, Alexa May Patton, and we had Dante Andrew Patton. And I'm scared to ask, did I miss somebody? All right, this time I didn't miss anybody. Thank you all for being here. Thank you very much. We are on BL 2022-1332 by Councilmember Suara. It was moved and properly seconded. We're ready to vote. All those in favor of BL 2022-1332 for passage on third reading, say aye. Opposed, no. The bill is adopted. Congratulations. All right, that takes care of those two bills. We are now back on consent resolutions and resolutions. I am going to read those items that are on the consent agenda, and if there's anything that needs to be bumped off, let me know. All right, so the first one up is RS 2022-1640. That's item number 5. That's on consent. 1641 is on consent. 1642 on consent, 1643 on consent, 1644 on consent, 1645 on consent, 1646 on consent, 1647 on consent, 1648 on consent, 1649 on consent, 1650 is on consent, 1652 on consent, 1653 on consent, 1654 on consent, and 1657 is on consent. Anything needs to be bumped off the calendar, off the consent calendar? Make sure I've got it all right. All right. 1646 is on consent. Does it need to be pulled off? Okay. right, 1646 has been pulled off. Anything else? All right, here is the bills, the captions on the consent resolution agenda. First of all, number 5, RS 2022-1640. Councilmember Alan Welsh and Suara, a resolution accepting a grant from the state of Tennessee, Administrative Office of the Courts, to the Metropolitan Government acting by and through the Davidson County Juvenile Court for the provision of interpreter translation services for parties with limited English proficiency. RS 2022-1641, Alan Welsh and Suara, resolution accepting a grant from the Tennessee Administrative Office for the Courts through it's through the court proceedings for the provision of interpretation, translation services for court hearings which involve parties with limited English proficiency in the Davidson County trial courts. Item number 7, RS 2022-1642 by Councilmember Allen, resolution approving Amendment 3 to a grant from the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency to the Metropolitan Government acting through the Department of Finance to provide public assistance pursuant to Presidential Disaster Declaration number FEMA 4476-DRTN for costs incurred for severe storms, tornadoes, straight line winds, and flooding on March 3rd, 2020. RS 2022-1643 by Parker and Allen, resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Mayor to submit the 2022-2023 annual update to the 2018-2023 Consolidated Plan for Housing and Community Development to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. RS 2022-1644, Toombs, Parker and Allen, a resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency to negotiate and enter into a pilot agreement and accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to a multifamily housing project located at 3720 Clarksville Pike, known as Clarksville Pike. That's interesting. All right, RS 2022-1645 by Councilmembers Van Rees, Parker, and Allen. Resolution authorizing the Metropolitan Development Housing Agency to negotiate and enter into a pilot agreement, accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes with respect to a multifamily housing project located at 35551, 3557, and 3561 Dickerson Pike, known as Dickerson Flats. RS 2022-1647 by Councilmembers Allen and Bradford, resolution accepting a grant from the Tennessee Arts Commission to the Metropolitan Government through the Metropolitan Arts Commission, funding a nonprofit organization to nurture artists, art organizations, and art supporters in Davidson County. RS 2022-1648 by Allen and Evans, resolution approving a modification of the Fire Marshal's Office fee schedule. RS 2022-1649, Allen, Evans, Welsh, and Suara, a resolution accepting a grant from the Tennessee Department of Health to the Metropolitan Government through the Board of Health to achieve sustained control and enhanced prevention to eventually eliminate tuberculosis as a public health threat in Tennessee. RS 2022-1650, Allen, Evans, and Bradford, resolution accepting a grant from the Friends of Metro Animal Care and Control to the Metropolitan Government through the Board of Health to provide funding for the Safety Net Program, emergency medical care for shelter animals, and foster behavioral support. RS 2022-1652 by Councilmember Allen, Evans, and Welsh, resolution approving Amendment 3 to a grant for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to the Metropolitan Government through the Metropolitan Board of Health for the ongoing collection of data on ambient air concentrations for fine particulate matter in Nashville, Tennessee. RS 2022-1653 by Allen, Bradford, Gamble, and Suara, resolution approving an agreement between the U.S. Small Business Administration and the Metropolitan Government through the Nashville Public Library to strengthen and expand small business development in the local area. RS 2022-1654 by Allen and Young, resolution approving an application for a congestion management air quality improvement grant, accepting a CMAQ grant through an intergovernmental agreement from the Tennessee Department of Transportation to the Metropolitan Government through NDOT and multimodal infrastructure for the acceptance of work to implement the Nashville Connector. And one last one, RS 2022-1657 by O'Connell, Evans, Virtue, and others, a resolution recognizing the 70th anniversary of Box 55 Association. Those are the resolutions on the consent agenda. Does anything need to be bumped off? All right, seeing none, we're ready for some committee reports. All right, first one up is affordable housing. Councilmember Parker.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Affordable housing considered RS 2022-1643, voted 7-4, 0 against. 1644 voted 7-4 and 0 against. And on 1645, we voted again, 7-4 and 0 against.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Parker. Councilmember Allen, Budget and Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance recommended approval for RS 2022-1640, 8 in favor, 0 against. RS 2022-1641, 8 in favor, 0 against. RS 2022-1642, 9 in favor, 0 against. RS 2022-1643, 8 in favor, 0 against. RS 2022-1644, 9 in favor, 0 against. RS 2022-1645, 9 in favor, 0 against. RS 2022-1647, 48, 49, 50, 52, 53, and 54, 8 in favor, 0 against.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Allen. Councilmember Bradford, Public Facilities.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So we saw RS 2022-1647, and we voted 5 in favor, none against, and 1650, again, 5 in favor, none against.
Okay, 1653. That would have been right. Yeah, it was 1653, I think. Okay. Public Health and Safety, Councilmember Evans.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We considered items 1648, 1649, 1650, 1651, and 1652, and voted for all 8 in favor, 0 against.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Vercher, you've got one.
Yes, Vice Mayor, on RS 2022-1657, Rules Confirmations and Public Elections Committee recommended approval, 8-4-0 against.
All right, thank you. And Transportation Infrastructure, Councilmember Young.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I feel inadequate. I only have one resolution tonight, which is rare. But RS 2022-1654 was recommended for approval by Transportation Infrastructure, 10 in favor, 0 against, and I'll move the consent agenda.
All right, Councilmember Young has moved the consent agenda, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the consent agenda say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. You adopt. All right, let's go back and pick up the resolutions that were not on consent. First one is item number 4, RS 2022-1590 by Councilmember Sledge. Resolution appropriating the amount of $100,000 from the General Fund Reserve Fund for the, for the purchase of equipment and building repairs for various departments of the Metropolitan Government. Councilmember Sledge, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report, please.
That would be Budget and Finance. Councilmember Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance recommended approval, 5 in favor, 3 against, and 1 not voting.
All right, back to you, Councilmember Sledge.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to defer to the first meeting in September with a brief explanation.
Okay, the motion is to defer to the first meeting in September. Properly seconded. Back to you.
Thank you, and I'll leave the committee discussion yesterday for folks to follow up on if they want to, but as things currently stand, I want to thank the administration. I want to thank NDOT Director Alarcon, General Manager Nashville B-Cycle, Elise Daniel, and the Edge Hill Public Library. What we have worked out today is that there is an existing B-Cycle station that is going to be moved over to the Edge Hill Library, and it is expected to be installed before the end of August. So in doing that, that will create the access that was the intent of this legislation, in which somebody can capitalize on the partnership between the public library and B-Cycle, in which they can go in, check out a fob for the B-Cycle, and they can use B-Cycle for free. This is available throughout our library systems. I know several of us have been trying to promote that, but as part of this, getting those actual stations, the infrastructure, as close as possible to the libraries was a goal, and was a goal of mine, particularly for the Edge Hill Library, which sits right on, literally right in the middle of the 12th Avenue South bike lanes that are under construction. So thank you, colleagues, for humoring me, and thank you to all those who I mentioned previously for working together on this. I think this will fill a critical gap in our infrastructure. And with that, I'd ask for approval of the deferral into the first meeting of September.
All right, so Councilmember Sledge has moved this one, deferred this one to the first meeting in September, again properly seconded. Any discussion on the deferral motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the deferral motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. This one's deferred to the first meeting in September. Next item up is item number 11, RS 2022-1646 by Council Members Allen, Porterfield, Evans, and others. Resolution requesting that the Metropolitan Employment Benefit Board assess the current availability of benefits providing transportation accommodation related costs when necessary to obtain medical treatment unavailable in Tennessee and to extend such coverage if not currently provided. Councilmember Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Went to rules. Councilmember Vercher.
Thank you so much. We recommended approval, 8-4-0 against.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Councilmember Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval with a brief explanation.
All right, so there's a motion to approve, properly seconded. Back to you.
Thank you. We had a number of very eloquent speeches related to a similar resolution, or at least a related resolution, in response to the recent Supreme Court ruling, and I will never be able to do justice to the impassioned speeches that were made. So I'm going to talk data like I always do and hope that my colleagues will help me out on the importance of this issue. This data simply asks the Employee Benefit Board to look at our current benefits and to determine if they already cover travel expenses to go outside of the state for benefits that are not available in the state of Tennessee. And as we know, there is now a limit on some important maternal reproductive health procedures. So there is ample data that shows that there is a strong connection between increased maternal mortality and restricted access to reproductive health. And as a city that values life, it's appropriate for us to respond to this Supreme Court ruling to ensure that Metro employees have access to needed health care. This resolution asks just for the board to determine if the benefits cover that travel and accommodations, and if it doesn't, then to study what would be a reasonable response for us to cover. There are times when women have to make difficult choices, and that is sad. But when we have to make those difficult choices, they need to be able to do that safely, and I ask for your support for this bill.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Allen. Councilmember Hauser, you're recognized. Wait a minute, you didn't push your button? So I'm having trouble hearing. Can you, Councilmember Welsh? I'm picking.
The system is calling me Gloria. I requested to speak, and Gloria popped up, and I didn't, and I withdrew and did it again. So it's calling me Gloria.
Well, Councilmember Gloria, do you want to say anything or not?
Yes, I do, Mr. Vice Mayor. Thank you very much. This is a very, very important thing that I think that we as a body get on record and support. Women's reproductive health care is health care one way and another, in any and all ways. And the fact that an illegitimate court is stripped a right or is attempting to strip a right from women is wrong, and we should not abide by that. Women in the state of Tennessee, women in Nashville should not have less access to health care to take care of the needs that they have now and in the future than women in other states. We can't have the rights of people being at the whim of illegitimate power grab by, an illegitimate court. So I really think that it's very, very important that we get on record that we will make every effort to assure that women who need reproductive health care, whatever that is, up to and including an abortion, we will provide that coverage. This is not a coverage that the city of Nashville pulled. This was coverage that's being pulled out of our hands by people who have no right to be taking that from us. So I think that it needs to be very clearly stated that we will take care of the needs of all of our Metro employees. When they have needs, we will find a way to provide those needs, because that is what our job is as a body and as a city. So I ask my colleagues to support this.
All right, thank you, Council Member. I'm just going to tell you what's happening up here. Councilmember Porterfield was actually next, but by the time I look back around, she had fallen to third on the list. So are you okay with that? So I've got Councilmember Nash next, and then Councilmember Benedict, and then Councilmember Porterfield. Councilmember Nash, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You remember at our last meeting, I said abortion ought to be legal with some restrictions, and they ought to be safe. and they ought to be rare. And I think if I heard Berkeley or Councilmember Allen correctly, I think her bill does that, or at least helps aid that. So I support that. I would caution some of my members, though, about using things like an illegitimate court. We have the other side that's saying we have an illegitimate president. And I think that's the kind of rhetoric that kind of goes a little bit over the top, and I think we need to be careful. I think we'll get more cooperation maybe from other folks, where we need to get some cooperation to deal with this issue.
All right, Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I don't have any prepared remarks for this tonight, but what I do want to reiterate is that 2 weeks ago I said to this body in this room here that I will support any woman, I am with her, who wants to be in charge of her body as well she should be. There's not one single person on this planet who should have dominion over any other person's body. And in that ilk, we need to do all that we can, I believe, to help Metro employees and Metro employees' dependents have free and fair access, or maybe not free, but underneath our health care plan, access to the medical necessities that they need. That may be an IUD, that may be birth control pills, that may be an abortion, that may be a lot of different things, but regardless, I deserve to make medical decisions for my own body, and our employees and dependents, their dependents, ought to be able to do the same. This resolution does not authorize that, but rather this resolution authorizes the benefit board to assess that. And with that, I hope that this entire body supports, just like we do with many other pieces of legislation, supports looking at something and studying something and seeing if it's something that we can do and that our residents and taxpayers support. And in that regard, I hope that everyone supports this bill. I will say that I am committed to making sure that women in this country, women in this state, and most importantly, women in this city and in my district have access to anything that they need to have complete freedom over their body. This is something that will help our Metro employees and their dependents have access, or potentially have access to that. And so I would ask this body to support this. And again, anything that anyone in this country is doing to take away my ability to make a decision with my doctor to do whatever it is that I want to do with my body, I would say that anyone who thinks that they should be able to do that to my body, think about what it means for me to do that to your body. For me to have dominion over your body is completely unacceptable. And likewise, it's unacceptable for you to have dominion over mine. With that, I hope that everyone will support this resolution, and thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Porterfield.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I will be very brief. As a woman who is of reproductive age, obviously, this is something that's very personal to me. I've spoken out a lot about this. This is our opportunity, colleagues, to put our money where our mouth is. If we care about working class people in this city, this is our opportunity. What we know when Roe v. Wade was overturned, this is going to disproportionately impact poor communities and working class individuals. We know that while we have made great strides to improve pay for Metro employees, we know that some of our Metro employees are having to work 2 jobs just to make ends meet, and having to go out of town for procedures can be something that is a financial detriment. So by providing transportation, accommodation, and related costs, we are offering health care for our employees, and we are taking care of the people that are taking care of us. So again, please, colleagues, I ask you, put your money where your mouth is. I also want to lift up that this is not only going to benefit women, this also benefits trans men, non-binary individuals, anyone with a uterus that is able to reproduce. So we don't want to leave anyone out of this, and we want to make sure that we're going to bat for our employees that go to bat for us every day. And with that, colleagues, I ask you for your support.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Porterfield. I've got Councilmember Murphy.
Thank you. I definitely do not want to detract from any of the things that my fellow colleagues have said tonight in regards to reproductive health for women and transgendered male and anyone with a uterus. But I wanted to commend the sponsor and the administration and the benefit board that will be looking at this, because not only are we talking about those rights and services and what is basic human health care that we have a basic human right for, but what I appreciate that this resolution is also going to be looking at services that are not required or provided for in Tennessee. I have spent probably at least a third of the legislation I worked on at the Hill was battling at the state capitol, was battling insurance companies. The first bill I worked on was mandating insurance coverage for newborn hearing screenings. That was not something that was mandated by insurance. And so I really look forward to not just seeing the benefits for those of us who deserve and have reproductive needs and rights, but also for the things that our children, that our coworkers, that our colleagues, and those who are serving the city should have access to, whether that's cancer treatment, whether that's other screening, whether that is all sorts of things that we don't even know about because we're in Tennessee and insurance companies control our health care so much in this state. So thank you, Council Lady Allen, for making sure that was also included in this resolution.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Murphy. Councilmember Stiles.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I am going to have to abstain from this vote in regards to a board affiliation, but I really want to commend the sponsor and everyone that is fighting for all the women that need a voice and need assistance. It is critical, and I appreciate all of you.
Thank you, Councilmember Stiles. All right, nobody else in the queue? I think we are, I will try this by voice vote. I know that Councilmember Stiles is going to have to abstain. We are voting on RS 2022-1646 for passage. All those in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. And with one abstention, Councilmember Stiles. Resolution RS 2022-1646 passes. Okay. We are now on item number 16, RS 2022-1651 by Council Members Allen, Evans, Welsh, and Bradford. It's a resolution approving Amendment 1 to a grant from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to the Metropolitan Government through the Metropolitan Board of Health to provide for the prevention, surveillance, diagnosis, and treatment of HIV/AIDS and to administer a Minority AIDS Initiative program. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Can you repeat the number, please?
It is item number 16, RS 2022-1651.
1651, thank you. Metro Board Budget and Finance recommended approval, 8 in favor, 1 not voting.
All right, so that's Budget and Finance. Public Health and Safety, Councilmember Evans.
We recommended approval, 8 in favor, 0 against.
All right, back to you, Councilmember Allen.
Move for approval.
All right. Councilmember Allen has moved for approval, properly seconded. Councilmember Hurt, I think you have to abstain on this one. Okay. So any discussion on RS 2022-1651? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. One abstention. Councilmember Hurt, RS 2022-1651 passes. We're now on item number 20, RS 2022-1655 by Councilmember Allen and Young. It's a resolution approving a contract between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and Waste Pro of Tennessee, Inc. for the provision of solid waste collection and collection of carts. Councilmember Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
All right. You've got one. I'll go to transportation first. Councilmember Young.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. We recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
All right, thank you. Budget and Finance. Back to you,
Budget and Finance recommended approval, 9 in favor, 0 against, and a move for approval.
All right, so Councilmember Allen has moved for approval of RS 2022-1655 for passage, properly seconded. Any discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. 1655 passes. We're on item number 21, RS 2022-1656 by Councilmember Stiles. It's a resolution requesting the Department of Codes Administration to issue a monthly report to Council regarding codes enforcement after regular business hours. Councilmember Stiles, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Committee reports?
Government Operations, Councilmember Hancock.
Government Operations voted to approve, 5 in favor, 2 against.
All right, Councilmember Stiles, you're recognized.
I would like to move for approval with a brief comment.
All right, Councilmember Stiles says move for approval, properly seconded. Back to you.
Thank you very much. So this is a request for a separate report. This is different from your monthly district code reports that you would receive. This report will specifically deal with nighttime violations and how they're being addressed. It would be on a spreadsheet. It would let us know the date that the complaint was filed, how long it had been sitting, when was it addressed, when was it closed out. This was the result of having a conversation about the co-response team during budget. And since the code said that they were not ready to do that and they wanted to do some more research, this enables them to provide us with that monthly information. So I'd ask for your support.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember O'Connell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate this a great deal because we, in District 19, I'd say a surprising number of things that are in violation of property standards that would otherwise be enforced by codes happen after standard business hours for Metro. And this would actually, I think, help our constituents understand what some of the challenges are. So I'm here in full support of this. So thank you to Councilmember Stiles for raising this issue. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember O'Connell. Councilmember Young.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I'll be voting no on this because this, if we want some information from the Coast Department, call them, pick up the phone, or email them and ask them. I mean, this just seems a little ridiculous to me. I mean, this is just kind of silly. Like, why do we need to go on the record to request an Excel spreadsheet? Lord have mercy. Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Young. That is everybody in the queue. Since we're having no vote, we're going to go on the board. Let me tell you where we are. We're on RS 2022-1656 by Councilmember Stiles. This is a motion to approve. It was properly moved and properly seconded. So we are ready to vote. Again, with a negative vote, we're going to go on the board. Mr. Clerk, you ready? All right. We're on RS 2022-1656. The motion is to approve. Mr. Clerk, open up the machines. All right, Mr. Clerk, close the machines, take the vote. It looks like ayes 18, noes 13, 2 abstention. The resolution passes. Right? We are on, I think that takes care of everything on the resolutions. We have 3 late resolutions. The first one is a resolution honoring the life of Mr. Vernon Winfrey. Councilmember Hurt, you are hold on.
President, I just wanted to stand to ask my colleagues to support this resolution. As you all know, Mr. Winfrey passed away a couple of weeks ago, and he was funeralized last week. We did provide a proclamation from the council, for which I am grateful for those of you who signed on to it. Mr. Winfrey was not only a former council member, but a business owner, and it was interesting that he was still alive and had a street named after him. I guess that can happen when your daughter is Oprah, huh? But he did do a lot in the community for so many. It was just amazing of the people who were lined up to give.
I think that was from many people ago, so keep going.
Accolades to him for the things that he did in the community. So I wanted it to be a part of our record, recognizing the life of Mr. Vernon Winfrey, and I ask you all to please sign on as we celebrate his life.
Councilmember Hurt, would you like everybody to sign on, and everybody who votes aye to be listed as a sponsor?
Thank you.
Without objection, that will be done. I've got a committee report coming in. Councilmember Vercher. Rules Committee. Is that the Murphy rule? Okay, great. Councilmember Vercher.
Yes, Vice Mayor, we recommended approval, 7-4-0 against.
Okay, thank you. So Councilmember Hurt is moving approval of the late file resolution.
I'm sorry, it was no objections.
No objections.
Yeah, wrong
so
report.
We're going to have to suspend the rules. I'm sorry. I was looking at the Rules Committee report. So did you all take this one up as also just looking at the resolution, Councilmember Vercher?
We did. We looked at the emergency filing and the resolution content.
Okay. All right. So what we've got is that you're going to need to suspend the rules to get this one before us.
I move to suspend the rules.
All right. So is there any objection to suspension of the rules to get this before us tonight? Seeing none, rules are suspended. So Councilmember Hurt.
I move for approval.
Councilmember Hurt moves for approval, properly seconded. Councilmember Sawara, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I will not take a lot of time. I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Winfrey when I was running for office. I did not know him for long. But it was a gentle soul and a very wise man and very welcoming. And it was beautiful to just hear what everyone that was in the neighborhood had to say about him. And he has a legacy outside of having a very famous daughter. People love him for him and for all that he did in the community. And that was just so beautiful to hear everybody and to see everyone that came out to support him. And one thing that also stood out for me also was the relationship that he does have with his daughter. To learn that his daughter actually has been here for a month taking care of him shows the kind of father that he is. To his daughter and also to the people in the community. And with that, I'm glad that we are honoring him on the floor, and I ask for your support, or I know you're all going to do. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Council Member. All right, that completes people in the queue. We're ready to vote. This is a late file resolution honoring the life of Mr. Vernon Winfrey. We are ready to vote. All those in favor of the resolution say aye. Opposed, no. Resolution's adopted. All right, the next we have another late file resolution. This is by Councilmember Allen and Evans. It's a resolution approving a correction to Amendment 1 to a grant from the Tennessee Department of Finance Administration to the Metropolitan Government through the Office of Family Safety to fund staffing positions to help manage the multidisciplinary needs of its clients. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
All right, let's go to rules because it was late filed. Councilmember Vercher.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. There were no objections.
All right. So, Councilmember Allen, let's go ahead and get the rules suspended so we can get this.
I would like to ask for a suspension of the rules.
All right. Because it was late filed, Councilmember Allen has moved to suspend the rules to get this one before us tonight. Any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing none, rules are suspended. We've got committee reports, Public Health and Safety. Councilmember Evans? Did it come to you all? This is late file resolution for the Office of Family Safety.
Yes, we considered it and voted 8 in favor, 0 against.
All right, and then back to Budget and Finance. You also had it.
Budget and Finance recommended approval, 9 in favor, 0 against, and I move for approval.
All right, Councilmember Allen has moved for approval, properly seconded. Any discussion on this one? Seeing none, all those in favor of the late file resolution regarding the Office of Family Safety, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. This one's adopted. And then one last one. Oh, we've got two more. This is also by Councilmember Allen. Resolution approving the assignment and amendment of a contract between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and Red River Waste Solutions, LP, to Platform Waste Solutions, LLC, for the provision of solid waste collection. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
All right, I'm going to go to rules. Councilmember Vercher.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. There were no objections to this late file.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Allen, you'll need to suspend the rules.
So I would like to suspend the rules, please.
All right, any objection to suspension rules to get this one before us tonight? Seeing none, rules are suspended. You've got committee reports in. Transportation, Councilmember Young.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. We recommended 10 in favor, 0 against.
All right, thank you. Back to you, Councilmember Allen.
And Budget and Finance recommended approval, 9 in favor, 0 against, and I move for approval.
All right, Councilmember Allen has moved for approval of this late file resolution. Properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. You adopt, and we have a late file resolution. Okay. All right, this is a resolution by Councilmember Hall, a resolution supporting District 1, the Bordeaux community and its residents, and condemning any future environmentally unsound infrastructure development and services in the district. Councilmember Hall, you're recognized on your late file resolution.
Committee reports, please.
All right, Rules Committee, Councilmember Vercher.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. There was no objections on the filing, and we recommend approval for the resolution 7-4-0 against.
All right, Councilmember Hall, you're going to need to move to suspend the rules.
Yes, sir. I move to suspend the rules, Vice.
All right, so Councilmember Hall has moved to suspend the rules. Is there any objection to suspension of the rules? I see one hand. I see two hands. All right, so there is objection. So Councilmember Hall, this one will just show up on the next agenda. Okay, thank you. All right, I believe that's the last of the late file bills. Okay, all right. We are now on bills on introduction and first reading. If there's no objection, we'll take everything at the same time. Is there anything that needs to come off of first reading? Anything? Seeing none, I'll need a motion to approve bills on first reading. Got a motion properly seconded. All those in favor of bills on first reading say aye. Opposed, no. Bills on first reading pass. We are now on bills on second reading. We have a consent calendar. Thank you. These are the bills on the consent calendar. The first one is item number 33, BL 2022-1329 is on consent. 1345 is on consent. That's item number 36. Number 37, BL 2022-1348 is on consent. 38, BL 2022-1350 is on consent. 1353 is on consent. That's item number 41. Item number 42, item BL 2022-1354 is on consent. And item number 43, BL 2022-1355 is on consent. Anything needs to be bumped off the consent calendar? All right, seeing none, let's go over the bills on consent. Start on item number 33, BL 2022-1329, by Council Members Allen and Bradford. It's an ordinance permitting the Metropolitan Tourism and Convention Commission to hold its public meetings at the offices of the Nashville Convention Visitors Court. Next item, item 36, BL 2022-1345 by Evans and Young. Ordinance to amend Title 15 of the Metropolitan Code, Water, Sewers, and other public service regulations pertaining to private fire hydrants. Item number 37, BL 2022-1348 by Councilmember Withers. Ordinance adopting property identification maps for the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, which shall be the official maps for the identification of real estate for tax assessment purposes. BL 2022-1350, Syracuse, Withers, and Young. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville to negotiate and accept permanent easements for the Fairway Drive Stormwater Improvement Project for two properties located at 12 Fairway Drive and 2418 Dennywood Drive. Next item, item 41, BL 2022-1353 by Withers and Young. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assemblies, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for property located at 4775 Drakes Branch Road, also known as Drakes Branch Phase 2. BL 2022-1354 by Cash, Withers, and Young. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing water and combination sewer mains, combination sewer manholes, and easements, relocate a fire hydrant assembly, and to accept new water and combination sewer mains, combination sewer manholes, and easements for two properties located at 2600 Jessingley Drive and 2555 West End Avenue. That's Cash, Withers, and Young. And the last one on second reading, BL 2022-1355 by Rutherford, Withers, and Young. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for four properties located on Cane Ridge Road, also known as the Parks at Cane Ridge Phase 1, Rutherford, Withers, and Young. Anything needs to be bumped off of the second reading consent calendar? Who, Bradford? I think he's just kidding me. Councilman Bradford, did you have one?
Yes, 1329 needs to be bumped from consent.
Okay. All right, 1329, which is item 33, has been bumped. Okay. All right, let's get some committee reports in. I've got Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning met, and we considered ordinances BL 2022-1345, 1348, 1350, 1353, 1354, and 1355, and we recommended approval of each of those. 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
Okay, thank you. I've got Public Health and Safety, Councilmember Evans.
Yes, we considered everything. It was all 8 in favor, 0 against. Sorry, I don't know which bill number
it
we're on.
It was 1345.
Thank you. 8 in favor, 0 against.
You did a good job of covering that.
Thank you.
All right, and the last one is Councilmember Young, Transportation.
Well, we considered everything else. Items, let's see, BL 2022-1353, 1354, 1355, 1345, and I did those backwards, and 1350, I apologize. Well, we recommended approval of all of those, 10 in favor, 0 against, and I'll move approval of the second reading consent agenda.
All right, so I got a motion to approve the second reading consent agenda, properly seconded. Any questions? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Second reading consent agenda is adopted. Okay, now we're going to go back and pick the ones up that were not on second reading consent. BL 2022-1115, item number 30 by Council Members Mendez, Rosenberg, Allen, and others. Ordinance amending section 13.08.080 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws pertaining to the use of license plate scanner technology to exclude assisting with immigration enforcement as an allowed use of LPRs. Councilmember Mendez, you're recognized.
I think the council director will tell us that Rule 43 causes an automatic deferral because I asked for a more than 90-day deferral last time, so I think it gets kicked to August 2nd.
It gets kicked
without a motion.
That's
or
right.
action.
It goes automatically to the next meeting.
Thank
It'll be heard on the first meeting in August. Okay. Next one up is item number 31, BL 2022-1168 by Councilmember Stiles and Sepulveda. Ordinance to amend sections 9.20.020 and 9.20.060 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws to amend the noise provisions relative to motor vehicles and authorize the Department of Codes Administration to enforce excessive noise provisions. Councilmember Stiles, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Government Operations, Councilmember Hancock.
We also had an amendment to consider on this, and we passed the amendment, 6 in favor, 0 against, and then we moved to defer the bill as amended 2 meetings, 5 in favor, 2 opposed.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Stiles, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I am good with that 2-meeting deferral.
Okay, so Councilmember Stiles, let me make sure you're clear. This is the third deferral on this, so it's an automatic deferred indefinitely, but you can always bring it back. So you can defer, but that's what it's going to be called for. So Councilmember Stiles has moved to defer this indefinitely. Properly seconded. Any discussion on the deferral? All right. Councilmember Stiles?
Yes, thank you. So I will bring it back, and this gives us a little bit more time to do a deep dive on figuring out how this could potentially be structured.
All right, thank you, Councilmember. So this one is going to, Councilmember Stiles has moved to defer this one indefinitely, properly seconded. Nobody else left in the queue. We're voting on a deferral motion. All those in favor of the deferral motion, which is indefinite, say aye. Opposed, no. No? Councilmember Cash votes no on the deferral. Okay. All right. So, but the motion to defer indefinitely passes. All right. We're now on item 32, BL 2022-1250. This is an ordinance to amend Title II of the Metropolitan Code of Laws to create the Nashville Entertainment Commission. Councilmember Stiles, Welch, Toombs, and others. Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized on your bill. Stiles. Would I say Toombs? Yeah. Sorry. Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized on your bill, but I'll go to Councilmember Stiles. Councilmember Stiles, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. I actually will move to defer this for one meeting.
All right, let's get some committee reports.
Committee reports, sorry.
All right, Budget and Finance, Councilmember Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance considered two substitutes, one from Councilmember Stiles, which we've approved 4 in favor, 2 against, and 3 not voting, and then a second substitute by Councilmember Swope, which we did not approve, 2 in favor, 1 against, and 6 not voting. And then we sort of considered the whole thing as a group and voted 2 in favor, 1 against, and 5 not voting.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Allen. Public Facilities, Councilmember Bradford.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. After a lengthy discussion, the Public Facilities Board voted 4 in favor, 2 against, 1 not voting for a 2-meeting deferral.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Stiles, back to you.
Thank you very much. I actually also wanted to ask about doing a public hearing for this for the next meeting. So it's the procedure to ask for it now in advance. Ms. Darby? Or
give us just a second. We're checking. Public hearing on zoning.
Yes. 28.
Councilmember's motion by 2/3 vote of the council members present at such a meeting to allow such motion shall specify the subsequent meeting at which the public hearing is to take place.
Are you on 28?
Yeah. You can make a motion. It will require 2/3 vote. You will need to designate the meeting at which you expect the public hearing to take place. And noted that this deferral will be a 3rd deferral, and therefore it will be indefinite, so you will have to ask to have the matter put back on the agenda.
All right, so Councilmember, what we're looking at is Rule 28.
Third vote.
So what it says is members of the public may address the council in a public hearing format regarding a specific resolution or ordinance when a public hearing is not otherwise required by law. If the council approves a council member's motion by a 2/3 vote of the council members present at such meeting to allow members of the public to address the council, such motion shall specify the subsequent meeting which the public hearing is to take place. So council director is saying you'd have to have a motion to have a public hearing, and it has to have a date certain so we can notify people. All right, so Councilmember Stiles, you're recognized.
So I would like to do public hearing for our next meeting, was the first meeting in August, and move for approval for having the public hearing.
Okay, so it'd be on a public hearing night.
At a public hearing night, can we not do it?
So what we're talking about is that's a regular public hearing night for zoning bills. I think you can have it then.
Can't. Yeah.
So she can't do it at the next meeting.
Because she has to do
Yeah.
something that night, right?
I think it's going to need to, it would need to be put on whatever agenda she wants to have the meeting come back. Goodness. So whatever meeting she wants to put it back on, but doesn't have to be deferred, automatically deferred once after that.
Councilmember Stiles, can you come up here for just a minute? Everybody just hold on a second. We're trying to make sure we've got this correct.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be deferred.
Okay, so what's going to happen is that when you defer, it's going to be deferred indefinitely. You got to put it back on notice. Okay. So, but then once you have the bill, you have to do something with it. You can't defer it again.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But
So you're
you'll
going to
need,
have the public hearing at the same time.
yeah, you'll need to have your public hearing the date that you want to have it back on the agenda. I think it takes a while to send the notices, do you know? Okay.
See, this is a little unique because it's a bill. It's not a public hearing.
Okay.
So as long as it's on the agenda, it's a public hearing.
Yeah.
You don't have to send out email notices, correct? You just put it on the agenda.
We just put it on the agenda. We don't put notices out.
Okay. It also, if you move it on second reading, it will no longer be amendable. Right. So if someone public hearing, you won't be able to have that as an amendment.
Without suspension of the rules.
You'd have to suspend the rules. You'd have to suspend the rules, but that's not a given.
Okay. So you need to know, I mean, right now, the issue is because it's going to be deferred indefinitely, and you're going to have it back on the
Councilmember Stiles, you're recognized.
Okay, Vice Mayor, so I would like to move for the public hearing.
All right, so Councilmember Stiles is moving to hold a public hearing on this particular bill. It has to have a designated date.
The first meeting in August.
The first meeting in August. All right, so what we're voting on is, again, there's a motion to have a public hearing on this bill at the first meeting in August. Properly seconded. Discussion on the concept of having a public hearing on the bill. So I'll go to Councilmember Stiles first.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. And so there's been lots of back and forth and lots of conversation in regards to the creation of this commission. And I had hoped prior to this meeting to have a public gathering for stakeholders, and I wasn't able to. So I'd like to do this public hearing to give them the chance to speak publicly on the record. We've received a lot of emails, but it seems like there needs to be a little bit more information provided, and I think if they come in person, we'll be able to get that information.
All right, so the motion is, again, this is under Rule 28. It's going to require a 2/3 vote of the council members present at this meeting. The motion is to have a public hearing. Discussion, Councilmember Murphy, you're recognized.
I would like to call the question.
All right, so Councilmember Murphy has called the previous question. It's a proper motion. We're not voting on the public hearing. We're voting on the previous question. All those in favor of the previous question say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Previous question prevails. Nice try, Councilmember Withers. All right, so we are voting on whether to have a public hearing on the first meeting on August on BL 2022-1250. Mr. Clerk, this is going to require us to go on the board. Okay, remember, we're voting on having a public hearing on the first meeting in August on BL 2022-1250. Requires approval of 2/3 of those members present. Before we vote, Council Director, how many people do we have in the audience? I mean, in the chamber?
I think 36, but Sean, yeah, 36.
We have 36, so
24.
So we will need 24 votes in the affirmative to have a public hearing. Okay. All right, Mr. Clerk, you ready? All right, open up the machines. We're voting on having a public hearing on this bill on the first meeting in August, excuse me. And right now it's 0 to 0 to 0.
Yes.
Is it open? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's working. Is it working? All right. We're voting on whether to have a public hearing on BL 2022-1250. Councilmember Vercher? You want to vote? Good to go. Mr. Clerk, close the machines, take the vote. There were 19 yeses, 12 noes, 5 abstentions. It needed 24, so the motion fails. All right, so Councilmember Stiles, we're back to you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So I will defer it indefinitely, but I want to bring it back for the next meeting.
All right, so the motion is to defer indefinitely Bill 2022-1250, properly seconded. Discussion on the deferral motion. I've got people in the queue. Councilmember Allen on the deferral motion. Councilmember Parker on the deferral motion. Councilmember Murphy on the deferral motion. You're on the board. Okay. Councilmember Young. Okay. All right. So we're on the deferral motion. This is a defer indefinite motion. Properly seconded. All those in favor of the motion to defer indefinitely say aye. Opposed, no. I don't think. Well, it's close enough. All right. We're going to go on the board. It was just hard to tell. All right, so this is a motion to defer indefinitely Bill 2022-1250. If you want to defer indefinitely, then you would vote aye on the motion. If you don't want to defer indefinitely, you would vote no. All right, Mr. Clerk, open up the machines. Again, it's a motion to defer indefinitely. If you want to defer indefinitely, you'll vote aye. If you don't want to defer indefinitely, you'll vote no. Good. All right. Mr. Clerk, close machines, take the vote. Ayes 22, no 7, 7 abstentions. The motion passes, so the bill is deferred indefinitely. Okay. All right, we're on to item number 33, Bill 2022-1329 by Council Members Allen and Bradford. It's an ordinance permitting the Metropolitan Tourism and Convention Commission to hold its public meetings at the offices of the Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
All right, public facilities, Councilmember Bradford.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Public facilities voted 5 in favor, none against, to approve and re-refer back to Budget and Finance Committee.
Okay, so you voted to approve the bill but re-refer it back. All right, Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you. So I move to approve and re-refer to the Budget and Finance Committee. I presume that will be on third reading at that point. Is that correct?
All right. So the motion is to approve on second reading but re-refer back to public facilities. That's the motion, properly seconded. Discussion. Councilmember Syracuse?
That was re-refer. It was requested by the Chair of Public Facilities to re-refer it back to Budget and Finance.
Okay, so you don't want it, you want it back in budget?
If I may, can I?
Councilmember Syracuse.
The discussion in the committee was that, thanks to Councilmember Taylor's questions and inquiry, we'd like to see kind of the delta between the cost of holding the meeting in a metro facility versus getting M&N staff off-site and what the difference in cost would be. So we just wanted to have that for transparency's sake. Thank you.
All right, so let me make sure I've got this right. Okay, so the bill was only referred to public facilities, but in public facilities, they want to refer it back over to Budget Committee.
So it had been to budget earlier.
All right.
And we'll take it back.
You want it back in budget? Okay. Okay, do you want it back in public facilities or no? No, okay. So the motion is to approve on second reading and send it back to the Budget Committee next meeting on third reading. Okay. Properly seconded. Any discussion on that very confusing discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. We're on BL 2022-1343 by Councilmember Hurt. Ordinance to amend Title III of the Metropolitan Code of Laws to create a new chapter relative to the hiring or selection of the head of a department or the executive director of a department, board, or commission. Councilmember Hurt, you are recognized.
Yes, I have an amendment. I want to move to substitute.
All right, let's get the committee report.
I'm sorry, committee report.
Government Operations, Councilmember Hancock.
Government Operations was unanimous again, 7 in favor, 0 against.
All right, did you all take up the amendment or no?
We did, 7 in favor, 0 against on that as well.
And I got Human Services, Councilmember Welsh. You got that one?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Human Services took up 1343 and voted 4 in favor, 0 against for both the bill and the amendment.
All right, thank you. Now, Councilmember Hurt.
Move for approval. All
right, so Councilmember Hurt has moved for approval, properly seconded. You've got an amendment that you want to put on, correct?
Yes, basically what has happened is that we wanted to make sure that we had some transparency and inclusion in the way that we do the process of hiring and selecting directors of our departments. And to codify a practice that's already been done by Human Resources is basically what this bill does. When I first initially submitted it, I did it with the Human Relations Commission, which was the inadequate department. It should have come out of Human Resources because they do have someone working in Human Resources to do this work. So the amendment is to change from the Human Relations Commission to Metro Human Resources.
All right, so Councilmember Hurt is moving the amendment.
I'm moving the amendment.
Properly seconded. She's discussed the amendment. Discussions on the amendment. All right, I've got a motion and a second on the amendment. We're ready to vote. All those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Amendment's adopted. Councilmember Hurt, you're on your bill as amended.
I'm ready to move as amended.
Councilmember Hurt moves her bill as amended, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the bill as amended say aye. Opposed, no. Bill passes as amended on second reading. Thank you, Councilmember Hurt. Item number 35, BL 2022-1344 by Councilmember Hall. This is an ordinance amending Title V of the Metropolitan Code to establish a development impact fee. Councilmember Hall, you're recognized.
Vice Mayor, I believe this is deferred by rule.
It's automatically deferred. That's right. Okay, sorry. All right, so we're moving on. Item number 39 is next, BL 2022-1351 by Councilmember Stiles, Withers, and Young. This is an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon public utility easement rights, property located at 4101 William Turner Parkway, formerly a portion of Old Cane Ridge Road. Councilmember Stiles, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
I've got Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning voted to defer indefinitely, 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstention.
All right, Transportation, Councilmember Young.
I apologize.
That's okay. You're on item number 39, BL 2022-1351.
Oh, well, we recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
Okay. All right, Councilmember Stiles, you're recognized.
Yes, so move for the indefinite deferral. There are some things that are being worked out right now with TDOT on this site, so we have to wait.
All right, so the motion is to defer indefinitely.
Yes.
Properly seconded. Any discussion on the motion to defer indefinitely? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion to defer indefinitely say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is adopted. We're on item number 40, BL 2022-1352 by Councilmember Murphy, Withers, and Young. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to relocate a fire hydrant assembly for property located at 17 White Bridge Pike, also known as Chewy's White Bridge Pike Restaurant. Councilmember Murphy, you're recognized. Committee reports. I got Planning and Zoning. Councilmember Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning recommended approval, 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstention.
All right, Transportation, Councilmember Young.
Councilmember Young.
This is item number 40.
Yes, I do believe that due to Councilmember Murphy's failure to get her letter to me in time, we actually approved this, 10 in favor, 0 against.
All right.
Sorry, pal.
I was in the room.
All right, Councilmember Murphy, back to you.
I had some questions come in today about sidewalk that I just need to get some information back to a constituent, so I'm going to defer this one meeting.
Okay, the motion is to defer one meeting, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the deferral for one meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. This one's deferred one meeting. And last bill on second reading is item number 44, BL 2022-1356 by Councilmember Murphy, Withers, and Young. It's an ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government to accept a new sanitary sewer main, sanitary sewer manhole and easements for properties located at 409 and 411 McAdoo Avenue. Councilmember Murphy, once again, you're recognized.
Committee report.
Councilmember Withers, Planning and Zoning.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning recommended approval, 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
All right, Transportation, Councilmember Young.
We recommended approval, 10 in favor, 0 against.
All right, Councilmember Murphy.
Again, same story, second verse. Defer one meeting.
Okay. So Councilmember Murphy has moved to defer this one meeting, properly seconded. Any discussion on the deferral? Seeing none, all those in favor of the deferral one meeting say aye. Opposed, no. You adopt. All right. All right. We have 3 pages of bills on third reading consent. So just stay with me. We'll go through this as quickly as we can. The first bill, item 45, is not on consent. 1146 is on consent. Item 47, 1199 is on consent. The next one, 48, 1210 is on consent. 1216 is on consent. 1230 is on consent. 1231 on consent. 1232 is on consent. 1233 is on consent. 1247 on consent. 1269 on consent. 1277 on consent. 1285 is on consent. 1286 is on consent. 1287 on consent. 1288 is on consent. 1289 is on consent. 1291 on consent. 1292 on consent. 1293 is on consent. 1294 is on consent. 1295 on consent. 1296 on consent. 1297 on consent. 1298 on consent, 1299 on consent, 1300 on consent, 1301 on consent, 1303 on consent, 1308 on consent, 1309 on consent, 1310 on consent, 1311 on consent, 1312 on consent, 1313 on consent, 1314 on consent, 1315 on consent, 1316 on consent, 1317 on consent, 1318 on consent, 1319 on consent, 1320 is not on consent, 1322 on consent, 1323 on consent, 1324 on consent, 1325 on consent, 1326 on consent, 1327 on consent, We've already taken care of 1331 and 1332. 1333 is on consent, 1334 on consent, 1335 on consent, 1336 on consent, 1337 on consent, 1338 is on consent. So we only actually have two bills that are not on the consent agenda. Councilmember Toombs, you are not recognized. What do you want to do?
Number 80. 1314.
1314. Item 80 is no longer on consent. Anybody else? All right, and some of these, there's going to be a very long third reading consent agenda committee report from Councilmember Withers. So. All right. Where is it? Oh, wait a minute, there it is, page 16. All right. Get a glass of milk and some cookies and listen to this story.
Tell us a story.
I'm going to tell you a story. Item number 46. Once a long time ago, BL 2022-1146 by Taylor and Syracuse, ordinance to amend Title 17 by applying a historic landmark overlay district for a portion of property located at 2208 Ellison Place, northern corner of Ellison Place, and Louise Avenue, Zone CS. BL 2022-1199 by Councilmember Toombs, ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from R6 to RM15 ANS zoning. Properties located at 2112 and 2116 24th Avenue North, corner of Simpkin Street, 0.46 acres. BL 2022-1210 by Councilmember Young. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from AR2A and RS30 zoning for property located at Old Springfield Pike, numbered approximately 210 feet west of Springfield Highways, 1.76 acres. Item 49, BL 2022-1216 by Councilmember O'Connell. Ordinance amending Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws to update the land use table pertaining to commercial amusement outside uses within the downtown code. Item number 50, BL 2022-1230 by Councilmember O'Connell. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from R6A to SP zoning for property located at 1306 South Street, approximately 200 feet east of 14th Avenue South. BL 2022-1231, item number 51. Councilmember O'Connell, that's the companion bill, and ordinance to authorize building material restriction requirements for BL 2022-1230. Proposed specific plan zoning district located at 1306 South Street. Proposed ordinance requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings. Item number 52, BL 2022-1232 by Councilmember O'Connell, ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing IR to SP zoning for property located at 1301 2nd Avenue North at the northwest corner of Monroe Street and 2nd Avenue North, located within the Germantown Historic Preservation District overlay. BL 2022-1233, the companion bill, I'm sorry, that's a companion bill to another one, 1146. Ordinance to authorize building material restrictions requirements for BL 2022-1146. Proposed historic landmark overlay district to include a portion of property located at 2208 Ellison Place at the northern corner of Ellison Place and Louise Avenue. Proposed ordinance requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings. Taylor and Syracuse is the sponsor. BL 2022-1247, that's item 54. Councilmember Parker, ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from RS5 to R6A zoning for property located at 1520 Jones Avenue, approximately 515 feet south of Joy Avenue. Hancock got the next bill, BL 2022-1269, ordinance to amend Title 2 of the Metropolitan Code pertaining to the Board of Fire and Building Code Appeals. O'Connell, Allen, and Bradford have the next bill, BL 2022-1277, ordinance approving a license agreement between the Metropolitan government acting by and through the Board of Parks and Recreation and the Lamar Companies for the use of 180 Anthus Drive, Nashville, Tennessee. Item number 57, BL 2022-1285 by Councilmember Toombs, ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from R8 to RM9 ANS zoning for property located at 3113 Cliff Drive at the southeast corner of Alpine Avenue and Cliff Drive. It's 0.55 acres. BL 2022-1286 by Councilmember O'Connell, ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metropolitan Code of Law by changing from IR to SP zoning for property located at 3rd Avenue North, unnumbered, approximately 145 feet north of Van Buren Street. It's 0.33 acres. Item number 59, BL 2022-1287 by Councilmember O'Connell. That is the companion bill to 1286. Ordinance authorized building material restriction requirements for BL 2022-1286. Proposed specific plan zoning district. Proposed ordinance requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings. BL 2022-1288 by Councilmember Parker. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from a CL and RS5 to SP zoning on properties located at 120, 121, 124, 125 Meridian Court, and 123 Marie Street, and a portion of property located at 1405, 1407, and 1409A Dickerson Pike, approximately 500 feet east of Dickerson Pike. BL 2022-1289, the companion bill to that 1288, proposed specific plan zoning district located at 120, 121, 124, 125 Meridian Court, 123 Marie Street, portion of property located at 1405, 1407, 1409A Dickerson Pike. Proposed ordinance requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings. Item number 62, BL 2022-1291. Councilmember Toombs, ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from RS5 to RM20ANS for property located at 16 Willis Street, approximately 269 feet southwest of Baptist World Center Drive. BL 2022-1292 by Councilmember Parker. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from CL to SV zoning for a portion of property located at 1405, 1407, 1409A Dickerson Pike, approximately 200 feet north of Marie Street. It's 3.47 acres. BL 2022-1293. That's the companion bill to BL 2022-1292 by Councilmember Parker. Ordinance to authorize building material restriction requirements for proposed specific plan zoning district located at 1405, 1407, 1409A Dickerson Pike, 200 feet north of Marie Street. Proposed ordinance requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings. BL 2022-1294 by Councilmember Taylor. An ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from RS5 to SP zoning for property located at 1526 23rd Avenue North, approximately 75 feet south of Formosa Street, within the Dadu Overlay District. It's 0.17 acres. BL 2022-1295, item number 66, Councilmember Toombs. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from RS10 to R10 zoning for property located at 1717C, County Hospital Road, approximately 325 feet south of Manchester Avenue. Is 0.3 acres. Item 67 by Councilmember Parker. BL 2022-1296, ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from RS5 to R6A zoning for property located at 221 Lucille Street, approximately 290 feet west of Meridian Street, 0.16 acres. BL 2022-1297 by Councilmember Taylor. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from RS5 to R6A zoning, property located at 1521 16th Avenue North, located in the detached accessory dwelling unit overlay district, approximately 120 feet north of Underwood Street. BL 2022-1298, item number 69 by Councilmember Toombs. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from RS10 to R10 zoning for property located at 1707 River Drive, 235 feet southeast of River Court. RS 2022-1299 by Councilmember Parker. Item number 70, an ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from CS to CSN zoning for properties located at 1218, 1224, and 1236 Dickerson Pike, 5 Ligon Avenue and 1055 White Street Pike, southwest corner of Ligon Avenue and Dickerson Pike, within the Dickerson Pike Sign Urban Design Overlay and the Skyline Redevelopment District, and partially located within a planned unit development overlay district. Item 71, BL 2022-1300 by Councilmember Parker. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by canceling a planned unit development located at 1055 White Street Pike, approximately 100 feet south of Ligon Avenue, zone commercial services, and within the Dickerson Pike Sign UDO and the Skyline Redevelopment District. BL 2022-1301 by Councilmember Taylor. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from RS5 to R6 zoning for property located at 1720 Cockrell Street, approximately 145 feet east of Dr. D.B. Todd Jr. Boulevard. That's by Councilmember Taylor. Item number 73, BL 2022-1303 by Councilmember O'Connell. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from IWD to MUNA zoning for property located at 19 Key Street, approximately 208 feet south of Hermitage Avenue. BL 2022-1308 by Councilmember Young. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from CS to RM40A in a zoning for property located at Gallatin Pike, unnumbered, approximately 555 feet north of 1 Mile Parkway. Item number 75, BL 2022-1309 by Councilmember Toombs. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing RS10 to R10 zoning for 1805 Haley Avenue, approximately 66 feet northeast of Doak Avenue. Item number 76, BL 2022-1310 by Campbell and Taylor. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from RS 7.5 to SP zoning. Property located at Mulberry Down Circle and numbered, and a portion of property located at Dickerson Pike, approximately 930 feet west of Dickerson Pike. Permit up to 149 multifamily units. The companion bill is BL 2022-1311 by Campbell and Taylor. Ordinance to authorize building material restrictions requirements. Proposed specific planning zoning district. Proposed ordinance requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings. passed. Bill 2022-1312 by Councilmember Hancock. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from RS 7.5 to SP zoning for property located at 1118 and 1120 Lawrence Avenue, approximately 356 feet east of Pierce Road. It's 2.03 acres, permit up to 21 multifamily units. Item number 79, BL 2022-1313 by Councilmember Hancock. Ordinance authorized building material restrictions and requirements for BL 2022-1312. Proposed specific plan zoning district. Proposed ordinance requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings. Item number 81, BL 2022-1315 by Councilmember Young. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing SCR and R6 to CS zoning on a portion of property located at Conference Drive, unnumbered at the corner of Conference Drive and Vietnam Veteran Boulevard North. It's 2.35 acres. BL 2022-1316 by Councilmember Young. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by canceling a plan unit development on property located at Conference Drive, unnumbered at the corner of Conference Drive and Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, zone R6 and SCR. Item number 83 by Councilmember Parker, BL 2022-1317, ordinance to amend Title 17 by applying a contextual overlay district to various properties located east of Ellington Parkway, zone RS5 and SP, 48.55 acres. Item number 84, BL 2022-1318 by Hager and Syracuse. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from R10 to SP zoning. Portion of property located at 1102 Robinson Road, approximately 500 feet east of Anita Drive. It's 4.49 acres. And the companion bill, BL 2022-1319, Hager and Syracuse, an ordinance to authorize building material restrictions requirements for BL 2022-1318. Proposed ordinance requires certain materials to restrict in the construction of buildings. Item number 87, BL 2022-1322, Councilmember Parker, ordinance to amend Title 17 by applying a detached accessory dwelling unit overlay district to various properties located west of Gallatin Avenue and east of Ellington Parkway, zone RS5. Item number 88, BL 2022-1323 by Sledge and Welsh. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from IWD to MULA in a zoning. Properties located at 2251 Winfrey Avenue and 802 Longview Avenue, approximately 92 feet north of Eugenia Avenue. Item number 89, BL 2022-1324 by Councilmember Nash. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing AR2A to RS10 zoning for property located at 219 Tusculum Road, approximately 440 feet west of Old Tusculum Road. It's 3.3 acres. BL 2022-1325, item number 90, Van Reese and Hancock. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from CS and IWD to MUGA zoning for property located at 625 Gallatin Pike, approximately 970 feet south of Nesbitt Lane, 3.05 acres. Item number 91, BL 2022-1326 by Councilmember Benedict. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from RS10 to R10 zoning. Properties located at 1300, 1304, 1306, 1312, 1360, and 1320 Cardinal Avenue, 1350 and 1315B Greenland Avenue, approximately 160 feet west of Kennedy Avenue, 1.74 acres. BL 2022-1327 by Councilmember O'Connell. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from IR to MUNA NS zoning. Property located at 1312 3rd Avenue North, approximately 220 feet north of Monroe Street, within the Germantown Historic Preservation District and the Phillips Jackson Street Redevelopment District. BL 2022-1333, item number 95 by Councilmember Vercher. Ordinance readopting the code of the Metropolitan Government prepared by Municipal Code Corporation, including supplemental replacement pages thereof, containing certain ordinances of a general and permanent nature enacted on or before March 3rd, 2022. Item number 96, BL 2022-1334, O'Connell, Withers, and Young, ordinance to amend the GIS system, street, and alley center line layer, Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County by abandoning alley number 708 right-of-way from Duncan Street eastward to unimproved Meredith Avenue right-of-way. BL 2022-1335, Roberts, Withers, and Young. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government to abandon existing storm sewer line, storm catch basins, and easement rights for 7 properties located on California Avenue, Edison Park Lane, and 57th Avenue North. O'Connell, Withers, and Young has the next bill, BL 2022-1336. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government to accept new sanitary sewer manholes for property located at 500 Platform Way South, also known as Nashville Yards Parcel 3. BL 2022-1337 by Hager, Withers, and Young. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manholes and to accept new sanitary sewer manholes for property located at Pitts Avenue unnumbered. Hager, Withers, and Young sponsors. Evans, Withers, and Young have the last bill. BL 2022-1338. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government to accept new water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assembly, sanitary sewer manholes, and easements for 4 properties located on Central Pike, also known as Tulip Grove Townhomes. All right, anything needs to be bumped off of that third reading consent? Yeah, I'm happy to. Let me go back to the beginning. All right, nothing needs to be bumped off. Councilmember Withers, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The Planning and Zoning Committee considered Bill 2022-1146, 1199, 1210, 1216, 1230, 1231, 3233, 1247, 1285, 1286, 1287, 1288, 1289, 1291, 1292, 1293, 1294, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 1300, 1301, 1303, 1308, 1309, 1310, 1311, 1312, 1313, 1315, 1316, 1317, 1318, 1319, 1322, 1323, 24, 25, 26, 27. And we recommended approval of each of those 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
All right, can I have a motion to approve?
With that, I move approval of the consent calendar.
Councilmember Withers moves approval of the third reading consent calendar, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the third reading consent agenda say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Third reading consent agenda passes. All right, so now we have just a couple bills left on third reading. The first one is item number 45, BL 2022-1131 by Councilmember Murphy, Withers, and Young. Ordinance authorizing the Metropolitan Government to abandon its easement rights located at 410 42nd Avenue North and 410B 42nd Avenue North, formerly a portion of Alabama Avenue, except for those retained by NES. Councilmember Murphy, you're recognized.
Move to defer.
All right, so all the committee reports are in. Councilmember Murphy moves to defer 1 meeting. All right. Properly seconded. Any discussion on the motion to defer? Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion to defer 1 meeting say aye. Opposed, no. That's deferred 1 meeting. Okay. Next item is number 80 by Councilmember Toombs, BL 2022-1314, ordinance to amend Title 17 by changing from RS 7.5 to R6A zoning for property located at 409 Tony Road, approximately 733 feet north of White Creek Pike. It's 0.18 acres. Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning met and considered BL 2022-1314, and we recommended approval, 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
All right, Councilmember Toombs, you're recognized on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. I move for a deferral to the first meeting in September.
Okay, the motion is to defer to the first meeting in September. Properly seconded. Any discussion on the motion to defer? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That one's the motion is to move to the first meeting in September as adopted. And I think our last bill is number 86. Almost got it. BL 2022-1320 by Councilmember Bradford. Ordinance to amend Title 17 by change from CN R15 and R20 to SB zoning. Thank you. For property located at Pleasant Hill Road, unnumbered, approximately 970 feet east of Bell Road, 5.25 acres. Councilmember Bradford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Planning and Zoning, Councilmember Withers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning met and considered BL 2022-1320, and we recommended approval, 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
All right, Councilmember Bradford, back to you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move for approval.
Councilmember Bradford has moved for approval of BL 2022-1320 for passage on third and final reading. Properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of BL 2022-1320 for passage on third reading say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay. So we have to go on the board. All right, everybody hold on. We're on the board on Bill 2022-1320, item number 86.
Kevin.
Oh, thank you. I almost made it all the way through. Thank you.
That might be 3 years old.
Here, you want to try it?
Hold it, so she doesn't. Test it.
Mr. Clark, tell me when you're ready. Okay. All right. We are on the board. We're voting on a motion to pass third reading, Bill 2022-1320. If you're for the bill, for the motion to pass, you'd vote aye. If you're against it, you'd vote no. Hold on, you know, we may have to revote, so I'm just... Okay. Everybody in?
I think we got everything.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, take the vote. Close the machines, take the vote. Ayes 31, noes 1, one abstention. The bill passes on third reading. Right. I need to see Councilmember Syracuse before he leaves. I need a motion. I have got something very valuable up here, and I got to give it to somebody. Councilmember Lee, for what purpose? Oh, Councilmember Lee moves to adjourn, properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Those no. We stand adjourned.
So the council has concluded about a 2.5-hour meeting tonight. They had a 42-page long agenda and had just over 100 items added, a few late. It was 100 items on the nose when they started, but there was a few late items I also considered tonight, so more like about 103, 104. Among the major actions the council took tonight was for the second meeting in a row, they passed a strongly worded resolution asking for action by Metro government concerning the recent Supreme Court decision overturning the constitutional right for abortion after nearly 50 years. The resolution passed tonight had the support of Mayor John Cooper and several council leaders. It passed without any dissent. There was one abstention. It requests the Metro Employee Benefit Board to study and consider extending health coverage for Metro employees to include reimbursement to obtain out-of-state medical procedures unavailable in Tennessee. That would apparently include abortions. It also includes other things that are not available in Tennessee, so it might things other than beside that. The benefit would include transportation accommodations at related costs. It could impact as many as 15,000 workers. This resolution does not appropriate any money at this point. Federal law does not allow the use of tax dollars, federal tax dollars for abortion purposes. It is not known whether there is a similar ban in Tennessee. I'm not aware of one for the use of state and local tax dollars for abortion. It does seem likely after tonight's action we may see some movements in the Tennessee legislature to restrict having that happen in Tennessee, given this potential substantial action tonight. On other actions tonight, the council also, under resolutions, accepted $1.9 million in federal disaster funds to aid in recovering from damage from the severe storms, the tornadoes, the straight-line winds, and the flooding back on March 3rd, 2020. The total amount of relief under this particular piece of legislation is now a total of almost $15.5 million. Under RS 22, 1640, and 1641, the council accepted about $177,000 from the state to provide for the provision of interpreter and translation service for parties with limited English proficiency in both the juvenile court and the trial courts here in Nashville. Council also approved two pilot or payments in lieu of taxes agreements concerning housing developments on both Charlotte Pike and Dickerson Road. This is a relatively new tool the city is using to increase and maintain affordable housing and rental units. MDHA, the Metropolitan Development Housing Agency, negotiate these agreements subject to council approval. With these approvals, this will be some 32 agreements that are in place. Council also dealt with significant health issues under two resolutions. One accepted a $1.6 million grant from the state to achieve sustained control and enhanced prevention to eventually eliminate tuberculosis as a public health threat in Tennessee. The other resolution adds $1.3 million to a federal grant to provide for prevention, surveillance, diagnosis, and treatment of HIV/AIDS and to administer a minority AIDS initiative program. Two other major city services receive help under a couple of other resolutions tonight. One accepts a $1.4 million grant through the state to provide 80% of the cost for the city to build its new Nashville Connector Transportation Demand Management Center. Nashville Connector will be the region's one-stop shop for commuter options. Resolution also approved tonight approves a 5-year, $7.5 million contract with Race Pro Inc. of Tennessee. That company will provide Metro with once a week, Monday through Friday, solid waste collection for a total of 20 routes per week. Service is anticipated to begin in September of this year. After having collection problems in recent months, this is the second new contractor that Metro hires, joining Waste Management of Tennessee, which was given a similar contract. Just moments after that, another late resolution was approved tonight, which would assign the contract of Red River, the Red River firm, which has been in bankruptcy and which has caused some of the collection problems in the past. That contract will now go to Platform Waste Solutions firm. For about 29 months left in that contract, we understand. They will take over about 75 routes now that this resolution has been approved tonight. Council, after approving several new laws requiring after-hours codes enforcement, they passed by a vote of 18-13-2 that a report be given to the council and the public every month by the Codes Department to look into how many complaints they actually handled in this particular situation. The reporting would begin August 1st. There were some council members, you noticed 13 no votes, that didn't think that was needed. Under memorializing resolutions, the council honored the Box 55 Association. That's a volunteer group which since 1952 has raised money and purchased food and drinks and volunteers to provide necessary provisions for first responders when they're scene of emergencies. For example, after the Christmas Day bombing back in 2020, this group was on site for 16 days providing meals and supplies for local first responders and other representatives of Homeland Security, the Bureau of Tobacco, Alcohol and Firearms and Explosives, and the FBI. Over those 16 days, they served 6,150 meals. Council also approved a late resolution to honor the life of Vernon Winfrey, a former Metro Council member, a community and church leader, and also the father of media icon Oprah Winfrey. On second reading, the council indefinitely deferred the bill that would involve license plate reader scanning technology to bar that from being used for immigration enforcement as a part of the city's upcoming pilot program. It was deferred tonight because of a council rule, because it had been off the agenda for a while. It would be coming up in the first meeting in August. Also, a bill that would have toughened the city's excessive noise regulations was deferred again. Another bill that would have created the Nashville Entertainment Center was deferred indefinitely. The sponsor wanted to have a public hearing about it. She couldn't get enough votes to do that, so the bill has basically been taken off and will probably come back sometime later. There may be other efforts to put in some kind of a different kind of entertainment commission also be coming up. The council also looked at a bill tonight that would have an impact fee for Nashville, although at this point state law will have to be passed in order to let the cities impose such a fee in the future. Council is now enrolled. One other thing I did want to mention tonight that I did not mention before that was quite touching on the council floor. The council approved two ordinances on third reading that would name two MTA WeGo facilities in honor of prominent Nashvillians who have passed away. One is at 400 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard downtown downtown. It would now be known as the Elizabeth Duff Transit Center at Wego Central. Elizabeth Duff was the first woman to be a driver for the MTA, and so the building will now be named in her honor. The second naming was for Rip Patton, a civil rights icon in Nashville, involved in both the downtown sit-ins back in the early 60s, as well as being one of those who was involved with the Freedom Riders across the South to free up interstate traffic and bus service back in the 60s as well. The facility will be named in his honors at 2521 Clarksville Highway at 26th Avenue North. The number of members of both families were here tonight for this, including some young grandchildren for them, had the opportunity to be here tonight. They were recognized by the council and all received warm and standing ovations at that time. The council is now in recess until the first Tuesday in August. That'll be August 2nd. We'll be here at that time to provide live coverage. Until then, I'm Pat Nolan, and good night from the council chambers. Tonight's Metro Council meeting has been coming to you live from the Metro Council, from the David Scobey chambers, from the Metro Courthouse downtown. It's been a presentation of the Metro Nashville Network.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.